What if the reason that you're attracted to certain kinds of people that you end up dating has less to do with what you actually want or what's good for you, and more to do with what you've learned to recognize as love or attraction? Stay with me here. So, if we've never met, my name is Andrea Hunt, and I'm a Heartbreak to Healing EFT coach, and I help women to move through heartbreak, rebuild their confidence, and deliberately create the next phase of their life. So I've been talking a lot about Chase Hughes's concept of emotional gravity because I think that it gives us some really interesting language and perspective for understanding why we keep getting pulled towards the same kind of person in relationships, even if it's bad for us. So the first one of his four emotional magnets is the mirror magnet. So what is this? So the mirror magnet is the pull towards people who treat you in ways that resemble how you were treated growing up. So this is where things can get a little bit uncomfortable. So stay with me here and I want you to stay honest. So you can consciously say, I would never choose somebody who treats me like that. And then you do. You fall into the situation, it happens, and you can't understand for the life of you how you got into that or how you stayed in it. And the thing is that it's not like you want to be treated badly. Nobody wants to be treated badly, but your nervous system recognizes the dynamic. And imagine you grew up, for example, with a parent who was really critical of you and used to say either backhanded, compliments or certain insults to you. And it made you feel like you were never quite good enough. There was always something wrong with you. You were too much or not enough. And that affection, maybe that you were getting from them, came with criticism, or maybe it was conditional. If you did something good, then you would get praise, or you would get some kind of a reward. And then years later, you meet somebody who's constantly criticizing you, or attacking you, or making little comments. And it makes you feel like you're falling short. And instead of being like an emotionally healthy person and being like, absolutely not, I don't freaking deserve that, and I'm out of here, there's a part of you that starts trying to convince them that they're wrong, and you try harder. And trust me, I have been in this dynamic, and it is years ago, and it is very, very confusing because it's only when you look back on it that you can kind of understanding that you were trying to prove your worth so hard that you actually ended up losing yourself. So the thing is that if that person, a normal person would be like, that person is making me feel terrible. I don't want that. When you try harder, you're trying to convince them that you're enough because you don't actually feel like that internally. And you might call that chemistry or passion, or you might find that chaos kind of exciting or even sexy. But that love is unpredictable for you and it's not healthy. And that consistency, if you get it, somebody who's calm and, accepts you and everything works the relationship, at the beginning, it might feel really, 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 really distant and very strange, so much that you might actually sabotage it. So the thing is that if you are with somebody and you feel it's kind of exciting to chase them and compelling, it might be because, maybe you had an emotionally distant parent growing up. And now you kind of keep creating that pattern because it feels normal to you. So, like I said in the last video, if it feels familiar, it feels safe, it feels attractive. And it feels attractive. If it feels attractive, it gets repeated. So that's the emotional gravity. And the really important thing is this: familiar does not mean healthy, as I said before, just means that your system knows it. So, okay, you're probably asking, okay, wow, I know this, but what do I do about it? So the question isn't simply, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep choosing this people? Oh, I'm so stupid. Let's not talk like that about ourselves. The thing to ask is, one, what feels familiar about this person or this pattern? Two, what does this behavior remind me of? What they're doing. Three, where have I felt this dynamic before? And here's the last and most uncomfortable question: did I learn something somewhere that told me that this is what love feels like? Because once you can see that connection, you will not be able to unsee it. I promise you, because it was like, for me. So the thing is like, I don't want you to blame yourself for this pattern, but we are responsible for trying to create new patterns that are healthier for us because we don't want to end up in the same situations that we've been in before. So at some point you learned it, and anything that you learned can be unlearned. Okay. and everything can be done differently. And one of the most important parts of healing after heartbreak is understanding our own role in the suffering that we had and how we do not want to recreate it. So, if you're dating again after heartbreak, or you just got out of a breakup and this is starting to feel a little bit familiar, you could be interested in my 3-day workshop coming up in 2 weeks. And it's going to be August 25th, 26th, 27th. And it's 3 days, absolutely free for you, 1 hour each day. We're going to be doing some EFT tapping, which you know that I love because it helps to reset the nervous system, release pain, release sadness, release anger, frustration, all of these feelings. It also helps us to rebuild our confidence. And get outside of our comfort zone so that we can rebuild our lives after heartbreak. So if that sounds good, check out the description box below and please sign up. And if this resonated with you, go ahead and give me a like or a follow and share me. Okay.